Pokemon Emerald. Let's see what's going on. We got a note with this one. I was originally doing this project myself. I was successful with 2 other Pokemon games I had. However, with this one, the original battery replacement did not work, and I lost the positive contact pad. It's currently super glued down, so you'll have to remove it. The game itself still works. It seems your video was posted at the perfect time for me. Thanks. So we know what the problem is. We need to open it up and take a look at the cartridge. This video is brought to you by PCB. They're running some holiday specials. We'll talk more about them in a little bit. For your orientation purposes, we're going to be working on this side of the board and this area. Okay, it looks like the pad is still attached. We'll have to do some cleaning to see what the cartridge is underneath. See if we can figure out a good solution for doing this time. I think the best approach will be to remove the battery and then take a look. In order to remove the battery, I need to set up my equipment. And while I set up my equipment, let me throw up my expected temperatures for this job. These temperatures are brought to you by the associate links in the description. If you go to my video description and click on one of these links and buy any of this equipment, a small portion of that purchase will go to supporting the channel. And I greatly appreciate you. It won't cost you an extra dime. Switch you back to microscope. Well, let's remove this battery. Add some flux and we'll be very gentle. Okay, put the battery aside and let's have a look at our disaster area. The glue complicates things a little bit. See if we can get some of that off. So it looks like we can still solder from this via, but the entire trace was ripped up here. And here, we need to solder. I think we're going to enlist the grinder here. We need to get this glue off. I don't need all the glue off, I just need it off in the critical areas here. Okay, I'll pop down here and scrape this via a bit. Just give us some more area to solder to. I think that's our line there, but we'll test and make sure. Let's address this battery. Go ahead and get this old pad off. Okay, that's the old pad. Don't know if we can make use of that, but we'll see. Okay, my first curiosity, it was one of the first things that was suggested in my last video, is can we bend this? We can bend it down so doesn't have so much spring action up. We should be able to fix that pad, but if it has a bunch of torque up, upward force, a pad repair will not take, at least not in the conventional way of doing it. My conventional way of doing it anyway. And find a tool to do some bending. See if we can bend this guy without breaking it. Oh yeah, that bent nicely actually. I am excited about that. Some people might be asking, why is he surprised about that? Well, spring steel sometimes is not bendable. I like our odds of fixing this much more. I'm going to look at their old pad and see if it's something we can use or not. I actually may go ahead and solder wick it. Okay, let's flatten them out. It might still be usable. Again, don't know. Pretty rare when I will try to use an old pad, but this may be salvageable. May end up being the best option as far as fit, because if we use one of my pads, we're going to have to cut down some copper tape. I think we can solder that to that. And then secure it down. I could stick some glue under the pad as well, just to help, which we may go ahead and do. We do have some glue. PCBWay is celebrating Christmas with huge sales. Get your Christmas coupons, your free prototype for Christmas themed design, deep discounts on your PCB orders, up to 50% off 3D printing and CNC machining, blind boxes, and more. Click on my link in the description and get your discounts today. I think we'll just use some E6000 here. It's really good glue. It's supposed to be for fabric, but I've used it for all sorts of things and it's worked just fine. I think our method here will be to get a little out onto this clean wipe. It dried too much for me to do that. See if I can grab some. with my toothpick. And we'll just do the STS Telecom toothpick method. Put a little bit down. I'm not trying to load it down here. Okay, should be plenty. Grab our pad. Should we get that in the right orientation? Don't worry, we're going to solder it and run a jumper to it. But first thing we're going to do is glue it down. There will still be some repair needed after we get this pad down. It will not establish connection by itself. Before you get to this point in the video and say, oh, you just gluing it back on. No, we're going to have to do some soldering to fix this. So I'm going to step away and let this cure for a while. I'm not in any particular hurry. I want that to be nice and dried and in place when we begin the soldering. I hope you're getting value out of this video. Just a reminder, if you find you're not ready to tackle this, I do offer these services, both locally and mail-in. Just head over to micromage.repair, click free quote, fill out the form, and I'll get back to you personally. If you mention this video, I'll give you 10% off on your repair. I stepped away for a couple hours on this one. It takes this glue about 24 hours to completely cure, but I believe it's secure enough for me to go ahead and do the soldering part. I need this cleared off. Any glue. And I need some place to solder up here. Push it off. We might get away with just bridging that, but it could come undone. I think we'll go ahead and run a jumper. We're going to be switching irons to the Pico pencil. Add some solder to our 2 points here. Yeah, it jumped right over, didn't it? That's fine. But I'm going to add wire there. We're going to be switching tweezers to our Easy tweezers. I strictly use these for jumper wire work. We might go with a bigger gauge in that. I wish I could tell you exact gauges, but none of my spools have wire gauges on them. Okay, I think that'll work. Still got to find things after the move sometimes. Let's tin up this wire. Let's solder the jumper on. Definitely would like to see more solder there. Okay, that's better. Let's check and see. In continuity mode, we have a connection. Very good. And gently break this off. I may need my knife. Okay, one jumper done, and we need number 2. This will be a several day job because we're going to have to let this glue cure. There's just no two ways about it. But I'm actually working on this earlier than I told the customer I would be, so should not be an issue. And we're still experimenting with approaches on this. Let's tin our jumper some more. What is going to be the best approach to this one? Well, adding solder would be a good approach. I don't mind if we just cover that whole via. Add some solid. And we're going to need flux. Okay. And that is solidly on there. Very good. Hopefully this alcohol is not messing with the glue too much. Don't think it will. We gotta get the flux off there. So I'd like this joint over here to be just a bit better than that. I'm not trying to be too nitpicky, it's just, that's not a very good joint. There we go. That's way better. Let's see if we can tidy up this one a little bit too. Alright. That is solid. And now we step away and just let it cure for most of the rest of the day. It's the next day. The glue is cured and is solid. I have applied solder mask. I thought I was recording, sorry I did not. I've applied solder mask to the jumpers and I'm going to stick our UV lamp on there to cure. Now the reason for the solder mask is to hold the jumpers in place while we're soldering the leg on. Heat will travel up those wires and dislodge them or they'll float away. This is a great method for holding them in place. So we're going to stick our UV lamp on there, step away for about 15-20 minutes and let it do its thing. And once it is rock solid cured, we will solder our battery on. And we're back. I believe we are well cured at this point. Feels solid. Excellent. Click back on our equipment. We need to do some cleanup on this pad gently. We don't want to rip another pad. Now we're going to tin our new one, our new old one, ever so gently. Okay, I think we're ready to put this battery back on. We'll deal with our non-damaged side first. Let's get everything reasonably well aligned here. Concerned about aligning the other leg, so just tack this down. Add some flux. Add some more solder. Okay, if we need to adjust that any, don't think so. Think we can get it on there. On the leg and the pad. Okay. Alright, that looks really well soldered. Our other leg is soldered well. Make sure it's not making contact with anything we don't want it to make contact with. And that's really close to those pins. You know what? I think we're going to have to bend that one too. Bend this one a little bit. Alright, well clear those pins. Very good. Yeah, that looks fine. Excellent. Let's grab the ultrasonic. I am reasonably happy with that. I think the results were a lot better than the last one. We definitely learned some things. I think the glue is an option. Can reuse the pad if it's salvageable. Bending the legs of the battery is probably the biggest improvement over our last one. I don't know that the glue is necessary if you bend the legs. Next time we may just try the UV cure method again with the bent legs and see how that works. It would go a lot quicker if we could do it that way. And if it takes 24 hours to do, it takes 24 hours to do. It's just what it is. And done. So just a note, the authentic cartridges are worth putting the money in to have a professional do it. The aftermarkets, I wouldn't spend the money on. You can buy the aftermarkets for cheaper than what I would charge to fix these. Anyway, if you got value out of this video, I think you'll get value out of this one, and I'll see you there.